Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, a sequential model is appropriate for a stack of layers since it groups the linear stack into a TensorFlow Keras model, where layers are added sequentially on the top of the other. So, suppose our image tensor will be of size 32 cross 32, having 3 channels. Then we will apply convolution on that image by keeping the number of sorry by keeping the number of output filters as 32 cross 32, and kernel size will be 3 cross 3. Padding parameter is assigned with valid, so there will be no padding. Activation function is kept as ReLU. So this is one of the tasks we will be doing. After that, we are applying max pooling on that layer we got. So the reference for convolution parameters is given here. You can go through this site so that you will find the other parameters and their values as well. Next, we apply max pooling on the layer we got, where default size of the filter is 2 cross 2. So after repetitive operations of convolution and max pooling, we will get some 128 cross width cross height number of feature maps for each output filters. So we will flatten them to convert into one single dimension of values, which will be helpful later. We will use this flattened layer as input layer of neurons. Dense is used to declare a hidden layer of 64 neurons for the input layer we get. In the next line, we have given dense as 10 neurons. So we pass them to another layer of 10 neurons, and that will be our output layer. So we will use this implemented module as our model throughout the program. So let us run this and keep it on our side. Let us give a quick thought on implementing backpropagation for CNN. Here we are using sparse categorical cross entropy as loss function. Use this cross entropy loss function when there are 2 or more label classes. So Adam is used as optimizer with a learning rate of 0.0003, and logits are used to map probabilities. Let us run this quickly. So till here we saw how to implement the layers and the backpropagation for CNN. Now we will apply these implementations on two image datasets we have imported. Let us first see how to use CNN over a grayscale image. We are importing the MNIST dataset, which is a grayscale image. So the tensor size of MNIST is 28 cross 28, and due to grayscale it is having only one channel. So we first import the train and test set along with their labels. Since here the number of channels is 1, so one axis will be missing from the number of dimensions of X-train. I will show you how. I'm running this. I will show you in the output how we are missing one dimension. it is taking time, so I am showing from the already oh, so it is coming. See, here we can see that we are getting 60,000 filters and 28 cross 28, and we should have got 1 as the dimension since number of channels is equal to 1, but since we are missing this, so we needed to expand the dimension of the set and increase it to adding another axis. So we expand this to having another dimension. Now axis equal to 3 will consist of number of channels, which is 1 here. Now, as shown earlier, the operations are done sequentially as I have mentioned above, so as to achieve a flattened set of input neurons, hidden layers, and then output neurons. We can see here series of operations are being done as shown above in that model, and we also have backpropagation module, so we will apply this on our model. We also have backpropagation module, so we will apply this on our module. We called feed function, which will train the model by slicing the data into batches of size 64 and repeatedly iterating over the entire dataset for a given number of epochs. Here we have given 5 as number of epochs. So after that we called evaluate function, by which we will evaluate the model on the test set via this. Two epochs are left, then I will tell you the rest. Are you all compiling the program along with me? I have already uploaded them in the files. Can somebody reply? Are you all compiling?
Smita, it seems that nobody responding, so you please can continue.
Okay, sir. I am just waiting for the epoch to finish.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got the output. Here verbose is used since one line per epoch will be shown, that is epoch number slash total number of epochs. This thing has been shown because of the verbose. So after compilation, we can see from the output that 5 epochs are run. We get the loss and accuracy. Here we can see them. So this was our implementation for grayscale image. So similarly, we can implement CNN over RGB, or we can say multi-channel image. Since here for RGB, the number of channels will be equal to 3. So we have imported the data set Cipher 10. Cipher 10 is an image having 3 channels, namely RGB. Just like the previous module, we have again compiled some sequence of operations, and here we have given 3 since it denotes the number of channels, here RGB, so 3. Again we have done the same thing. We have flattened the layers after getting from the operations, Then we have passed through hidden layer of 64 neurons, and then the last will be having 10 neurons. Then again we have called the backpropagation model and then tried to fit and evaluate. Similarly, here also we have got the loss and accuracy. There is not much difference from the grayscale image compilation. Only the number of channels needed to be changed. So this was our CNN implementation for grayscale and RGB images. Thank you. Now I can hand over it to Abhishek sir. He will continue the rest.
Ma'am?
Okay. So if anyone is having query, you can tell.
Ma'am, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Ma'am, is it possible to get the outputs of intermediate layers?
Yes, it is possible.
And
It's given, see. You can change any parameters as given. I have used on my own. So you can change any parameters and get the output of the intermediate layers itself.
no, ma'am. I mean, for example, here you have used
Hidden
many.
layer of 64 neurons.
Yes, ma'am. So can we get the output of the third layer from here like that, without disturbing the other layers?
Yes, you can do on your own. You can use print function, or they also have verbose function. You can use them.
Yeah. And we can apply our model on that particular layer also.
Yes, you can apply. Anything else?
No, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So I will hand over. Yes. Hello.
यार तू डिस्टर्ब करता रहेगा मेरे को नहीं
Please mute yourselves. We can understand you properly. Please mute yourselves. So I will hand over it to Abhishek sir. He will continue the rest. Thank you.
Abhishek, just give me 30 seconds. I'm changing the permission.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, Ashmita.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Abhishek, can you just check I have given the permission?
Sir, I think I have to rejoin the meeting. Chain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, sir. I will leave and rejoin again. Sir, I'm not able to present.
Sorry?
Sir, I'm not able to present. Like it is option is not visible.
Okay, so let me, I think what I have to do, I have to probably remove. Asmita, can you just log out of this meeting? Hello?
Okay, sir. I'm logging
Yeah,
out.
it's probably there's some issue with MS Teams. So if you log out, then I will try for Abhishek.
Can I once try to make him as presenter?
Yeah, sure, you can try that. Yes.
Okay, sir.
Now, sir, option is available.
Okay, please go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. Okay, is my screen is visible?
Yes, Abhishek, your screen is visible. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So today we are going to discuss three topics. Like one is about the escape connection, and the other topics are like classification using VGG16 and ResNet 50 model, and at last we will discuss about the transfer learning thing using VGGNet. Okay, so I will start with the skip connection. So basically, skip connection, as a name suggests, so it will skip some layers. Sorry, it will skip some layers in the network and feed the output of a previous layer to the next next layers. Okay, so in the ResNet we use this thing. In the ResNet, not in ResNet, like all the or the deep neural network models, we use this configuration to to perform the for using this skip connections, our model will perform better. So here you can see like it is our input X. So we are using these are simple network. Like here our weight layer, it is convolution layer, and then ReLU, then other convolution layer. So here and then ReLU, and it will give the output at the end. So here we are using this input to the that output layer. So here we are connecting this thing. So here, like for these two layers, it will not affect. And when you go to deeper network, like more than 150 or something layers, so where what happened, like you will miss the features. Like, so these things will help. So it will increase your model performance. So this is why you use skip connections. Okay, so by using the skip connections, like it is helpful because it is not basically based on the classification. We can do some other task also, like segmentation and detection and object detection also. So here we are going to implement one simple model. So by here we are using Keras library. So all the necessary libraries we have import, and after that we will create a simple model. Like previously you have seen Ashmita had shown, like we have taken the input size. Like our image size is 64 cross 64. It is 3 channel input, and our convolution layer is convolution layer with 3 filters, and kernel size are one kernel size I have taken 1, and the activation function is ReLU. So and we have using batch normalization also in this layer. So this is simple model that Ashmita has shown in the previous. So we can check like this is how our model will what our model will look like. So here you can say like when we print our model, so we will get the input layer like 64 cross 64 cross 3, and at the last we are getting the same input size, because our kernel size is like 1. So it is only it will moving from 1 pixel to 1 pixel. The our stride is also 1 by default, it is 1. So it is not changing. It is, so I am trying to show here, like it is our normal model. Like we will create this model. Okay, so after that what we do is, if we have to do skip connection, so like this input we have to add here also. So we can do this thing in skip connection. Okay, so in the next part we will create our model like this. So we have the same input side, we have same layers, and here also we had include one layer like layers dot add and visible con2. So here you can say like here we have added this layer and then print the model. Like here you can say like, and the benefit of adding this model is not because it is not increasing our parameters. So the parameter is 0, but we will get the input features. Like, so if say like we are in the middle, we have a deeper network and we are in the middle, we will lose some features. So we will can call the features from here. Okay. So it will increase the model's performance by using skip connections. Okay. So this is what the skip connection will do. So basically there are two types of skip connection also, like one is short skip connection and other one is long skip connection. So basically we use short skip connection along with consecutive convolution layer and convolution layer that do not change the input dimension like ResNet. Okay, and for long skip connection we use in autoencoders. So when you read autoencoders in future, then you can see like where we use long skip connections also. Okay, so this is the one example like how skip connection is used in ResNet 50. So here I have implemented this part here, like small one, so only one layer. It is skipping one layer only. And in the ResNet model, you can see there are total 50 layers and they are like skipping one layers, and these are mini skip layers you can add. Okay, here and at the end we have softmax, and we will like at the end we will get 1000 classes of we can get 1000 classes like as an output. So it can classify 1000 classes. So basically this is all about the skip connection. So okay, so the next is, so if you have any doubt in this, just ask, like then I will.
Sir, can you once again explain skip connection?
Okay, so skip connection is basically like as the name suggests, skip connection is we are skipping some layers. So some layers in the neural network. So it is not for the small network. It is basically we use a skip connection in deeper networks. And let's say you have an input size of image like 224 cross 224 and have 3 channels. Okay, in the middle, like network will lose some features, like loss of feature it will lose. So how model will perform better? So for making the better performance, we use skip connection. Okay, so here from the previous layer we can send the features from one layer to other layers also. So and it will not cost any parameters. So this is how it will increase the performance.
Yeah, can I add one?
Okay.
So to your question, Mayank, you asked, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So the reason that skip connection is taken, and this is one of the most widely used CNN architecture. You remember when you were training a very deep network, okay? So there are lots of layers, hidden layers in the network. What happens is that because of this, chain rule of derivative that we use to train, okay? So chain rule is basically multiplication of many function derivatives, okay? And what happens often is that because of this multiplication, the gradients become very, very small. And so update is also very, very small, because if the gradient become very small, then update is going to be very small. And therefore, for a very deep network, it's very difficult to train the network. In one case, it can take lots of time because of very small changes. or sometimes you get basically lots of instability because of numerical underflow and all these problems. Okay, that's because simply if you train the network with a very high number of layers. So in order to mitigate that effect, so in skip connection, what you are doing, if you look at this particular picture, OBSX picture, that there are two possible connections. One is basically the usual connection that you have feed forward, first layer, next layer, and so on, which is going. And another additional connection is added, which is basically the curved line, which is actually fast forwarding whole thing. So from layer 1, okay, so input in the layer 1, from you directly passing this input to, say, for example, layer 5. I'm just telling an example. Okay, it could be layer 7 or something like this. So you are basically directly feeding this information, jumping few other layers. Okay, and then finally you are combining this two information together. The direct jump plus the usual route that you are taking, and so you are feeding to the next layer. So in a sense that helps you to train the network very well. Okay, and this is not only true for CNN, this is true for feed forward network, this is true for CNN. And when you see these things in RNN kind of thing, for example, LSTM and this, there also people actually add skip connection just to mitigate these effects. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Okay, Abhishek, yeah, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, so we will move to the next topic. It is VGG. We are going to solve a classification problem. So we are using two models like VGG 16 and ResNet 50. So 16 represents the number of layer and 50 also represents the number of layers. So in VGG 16 it has 16 layers and ResNet 50 have 50 layers. Okay, so here VGG and ResNet are standard CNN models that here I am going to use the pre-trained model. So they are basically previously trained on ImageNet dataset. It is like ImageNet dataset is basically a largest data, like it is more than 1.4 million data samples contains. So it is previously trained on those data, and we are going to use those weights only here to classify the to perform the classification task. Okay, so basically the VGG net have input size of, basically it is ImageNet data have 224 cross 224 cross 3. So basically all the images, like when you see in the internet, it will show like something like this, but we can use any size of the image. Okay, it is here I am using 64 cross 64. So basically it will take less time to train, and when you go to the deeper layers, and here you can say like all the convolution layers and ReLU is there, and the red one is max pool, and fully connected layered is also here, and at the end we can see like 1000 classes. So it will classify total 1000 classes. Okay, so this is the introduction about VGG net. So you can see like VGG net layers also. So here in the initial it is image size is 224 cross 224, then it will decrease it like 112 56 28, and it will decrease, and at the end it will classify the things. Okay, these are the image size, like with layers, like it is the initial one, like it is the input image, and at the end it is like it will classify 1000 images. In between it is we perform max pooling and other convolution operations, and with the help of activation functions. Okay, so basically what we am trying to say, like here I'm going to use the flower dataset basically, and here I'm importing the libraries that TensorFlow and NumPy and Pandas and all. And here we have imported the VGGNet, because we are not going to create the model. We are going to, it is previously defined in TensorFlow, so we are going to use it. And so I have downloaded Fruit dataset, like Fruit 360 dataset. Okay, so in this data I will going to perform the classification task. Okay, so here there are in that data there are three directories, like one is training, one is for training, other one is for validation and test directory. Okay, so this is how and there are total 131 classes, means there are 131 class type of flowers, oh sorry, fruits. Okay, so here we are using 64 cross 64 image. You can use any other, like you can increase the size. It is around 128 cross 128, so you can increase the size also if you need. Here we are loading the VGG 16 model and weights of ImageNet. So I have previously talked like what is ImageNet. So here we are going to take the ImageNet weights and so here we are not going to train this model again. So here we layer dot trainable heads false. So we are not going to train this. So we are going to use the ImageNet weights and try to classify. Okay, initially. So at the end, we have a dense layer at the end, and we have model.compile will add the cross our loss function and the optimizer and the metric we are going to use. So here we are using accuracy, and we will print the model.summary by using this. So you can see like all the layers will print. So it is VGG 16 model. So here you have this number of parameters and the trainable so we have false the trainable parameters, so we can train only the dense layer only. So here this one is going to train and other layers will not going to train. Okay, so here we are in this part we are creating the training data set. Like here we are performing augmentation also, like here we are rescaling the image because the image pixels are 0 to in between 0 to 255. So we are rescaling it to 0 to 1. Okay, and we are zooming also. We are using zooming range 0.20% zoom and flip also. We are doing horizontal flip. Okay, so and we are doing this for the validation data also, and then this is like we are using data loader. So here training data generator have this much images and and validation data have this much images. Okay, both the data have 131 classes. Okay, we can print it like so you can see like in the generator part we have 6770 batches and here 2269 batches. Okay, and these are the class indices, like we can see like what are the fruits like apple, and these total 131. So it starts from 0, so there are 131 classes. So here we are basically training our model. So here we are using training generator dataset, and we are using the steps per epoch like 6770. That should be total number of training images we have here, like equal to this we are using. We can increase or decrease it as per our requirement. So we are here I am using only one epoch because it is taking too much time. VGG net is very 16 is very like it is very deep network, so it will in my system it is not able to running, so I have taken just only one epoch. So and here also like we have validation generator and validation steps we take. So when I run this you can also run this like okay. So you run this like it will take some time okay, but it will run for one epoch only. So you can see like accuracy here and loss is also changing and accuracy is changing here. So at the end I will get this kind of accuracy like 89% of accuracy, and it is for the training accuracy, and the validation accuracy is 90%. So here training accuracy and validation accuracy. Validation accuracy is more than training accuracy. This is because I think we are fixing the convolution layers. So this is why this is happening. So otherwise it will like training accuracy will be more. And we can plot it like if we wish, like we can plot it also. I am just running for one epoch, so I'm not plotting it, but we can plot it for, then we can see like what is the changes in accuracy and the loss function per epoch. Okay, this is what we are getting for after training and the validation accuracy. Okay. And now we are going to use ResNet. So we had discussed in the previous, like this is how the residual connection works, and we can add. It is not that we have to skip only one layer. We can skip from here to here also. And this is the ResNet 50 diagram. So it has 50 layers, and at the end we will get here also we will get 1000. It will classify 1000 classes. We will get 1000 input images. We can modify it according to our need. If you have classify only cats and dogs, then we can, here we will put we will modify for 2 also, so we will get cats and dogs classification. Okay. And here we are getting 131 classes. So here we have you can see like it is, we are getting only 131 classes. Okay. So same thing we are doing it here also, like here we are calling the ResNet 50 from Keros and loading all the fruit data set, like training, validation and test. And you can see like it is 131 class. We are using the same size of images, because 128 it is not support. I mean, for my system it is not supporting, so I have used 64 cross 64. You can change it and try something else. And here we are using the ResNet 50 model, and this model is also trained on ImageNet. So we are going to use the same weights and same weights that we have used, like previously we used for VGGNet. And here also we have a trainable parameter false, so it will not going to train the convolution layers. It will train only for the dense layers. Okay. And model.compile will add the loss function and optimizer and the metric we are going to use. So we can see the model summary here. It is 50 layers. It will start from 64 cross 64 cross 3, and at the end we will get the 131 outputs, like what is the classification. Okay. And here the next also we are going to generate the training data, and we are going to rescale the image, zoom it, and horizontal flip, and we'll do horizontal flip also. And for validation also we will get, and here we will get our training generator data and the validation generator we are going to use. Means here we are getting the batches of data. So training.datagram flow.directory, it will create the batch of data, like here you can see like length of, we will get two. Here we have a total 22,688 images, and we will get 2,269 batches. Okay, because our batch size is 10. Okay, now we will use this and train the model again. So you can say like here it is for one epoch we are training, so I mean the accuracy is not that good, so it is 51%, and loss is also more. So if we train for more epochs, then we will get better results. Okay, so this is what we are getting here, like it is 51% accuracy, and training accuracy and validation accuracy is increases. So this is the same reason, like it is because of activation functions and the batch normalization is not active. So this is why this validation accuracy is coming more, I think. And that's it from the classification task. So this, if you have any question in this, you can ask now. Then we'll move to transfer learning part.
Sir, can you once explain the ImageNet weights? What is meant by that?
Actually, the ImageNet weights. So this model, like you have seen, like ResNet 50, it is trained on ImageNet dataset. So ImageNet is a big dataset which contains more than 1.5 million images. So it is trained on that model, that dataset. Okay, so those weights we are using here for classifying these fruits only, because ImageNet dataset have all the like 1000, like more than 1000 classes. So we are using that weights here. We are not training anything, like we are not training convolution layer, we are training only dense layer only. So we are just calling
Okay,
it.
sir.
We are not training, we are not doing anything with ImageNet, we are not modifying ImageNet weights, we are just calling it.
Okay, sir. Thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
So essentially, this is a pre-trained network. So just like the network that you have seen, so this is trained on image database, which is called ImageNet. It has 1000 classes. So every image has some category. So category is basically class. And so you use by BGG16 or ResNet, you train this network on this image dataset. And once you train the network, that means you have all the weights ready with you. So a network is nothing but collection of weights, right? So all the weights ready with you. So you know all the values of all the weights, okay? And so basically then you freeze this weights and then you take it up for other downstream tasks, something like, for example, if you want to classify a flower or classify birds or something like this, you can straight away apply it. You don't have to train it again.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Should I move to third part?
Abhishek, please, yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So the last part is like we are going to talk about transfer learning. So here we are going to use VGG 16 model only. So here we will discuss how transfer learning work, and with the help of transfer learning, how you do means how we do fine tuning also. So I will talk about some theory about it. Then we'll start with transfer learning. So basically, okay. So in this problem, we are going to classify cats and dogs only. So by using the transfer learning and from a pre-trained network. So and then we will train also. Like first we will do with pre-trained network, and then pre-trained model is a saved network that was previously trained on a large data set like ImageNet. So so typically large scale image classification tasks or something else like we can do. So we can so here in the transfer learning, we can either use the pre-trained model as it is, or we can use transfer learning to customize our model for a given for a given task. Okay, so the intuition behind the transfer learning is for image classification, that if model is trained on a large data set, so we can take the advantage of those learned features maps without having to start from scratch. Okay, so by training the large model on a large data set. So in this IPython notebook, we will try two ways of to customize the pre-trained model. First one is like feature selection, and the other one is like fine tuning. So in the feature selection, we used to to represent the learn. You use the representation of learned by a previous network, and to extract the meaningful features from new samples. Okay, and so basically in feature selection we do not need to train the entire model again, and the base convolution layer already, like base convolution layer means this layer already contains the features that are generally useful for classification pictures. Okay, and the second one is like fine tuning. So in feature selection, like we are not training anything, so we are freezing the layers like we did previously, okay, in the previous notebook. And in fine tuning, what we do, we unfreeze the layers of few of, like not all, few layers, and jointly and train the, and then train the model. Okay, and then we calculate the accuracy based on that. So the fine tune will allow us to high order feature representation in the base model, so we can make it relevant for a specific task. Okay, so this is what I'm going to discuss. So basically here I'm using importing the libraries, like it is Matplotlib, NumPy, and yes, and TensorFlow. Okay, so basically I'm using this cats and dogs data, so you can download it from here, and it will, and after that, after downloading, we are extracting it in our local drive, and then and there are two folders. So when we extract it, it will contains two folders like train and validation. So we are calling it like in trained underscore dir variable and validation underscore dir variable. Okay, we are using batch size of 32 and image size is 160 cross 160. Okay, and here we are using train data set. Like here we are creating, sorry, okay, where I am. Okay, so here we are creating the training data set by using like training data loader. So basically it is, we are creating the training data loader here, and in this part, and same we are doing it for validation also. So here we can see like we found 2000 files belonging to class two classes, like okay, so and 1000 files for validation. Okay, so this is what we get, like this is our batch files. Okay, not not the total number of images. So total number of images more than 45,000. So this is 1000 batches, and it is 100 1000 2000 and 1000 batches. And after that we will print some of the images, like so we can say like we can print the class dogs and cats images. So we can check like it is dogs and cats only, so we can print it some like 9 images here. Okay, and so we don't have test data, so we will, so what we are doing here, we invalid from the validation set, we are taking 20% data like for the testing. So here the validation is like validate number of validation batches is 26, and 20% we taken from that, it is 6. Okay, so we will perform augmentation also, like we will do random flip and rotation also. So after that, after performing the data augmentation, we can check like our augmentation is done correctly or not. So you can see like it is rotate by some angle and flip also. So you can check like these are the rotation and data augmentation part is working. So after that we will rescale the pixel. So basically the image size is like all the pixels are lies in between 0 to 255. So we will, so we VGG for the VGG16 net, we will rescale it to 0 to 1 only. So here in this line we are doing it, we are rescaling it to 0 to 1, and here the base so here we are using our image size, and here we are calling the VGGNet with the ImageNet weights. Okay, so ImageNet weights means we are not going to train here. So here we are calling the ImageNet weights, and we will check like what is the accuracy with the help of ImageNet. Okay, so after that we will extract. So after that we will extract the features, like images are 160 cross 160 cross 3, means 3 is the channel, and it will convert it to 5 cross 5 cross 512 blocks of features. Okay, so this is, and 31 to 32 is our batch size. So this is the features like we will get and after that we will, so here we are going to do feature extraction. So basically we are going to base trainable model will false, so we are not going to train this model here, and after doing this we will check like number of parameters going to train. So we will print the model of summary, so you can check like all the parameters are non-trainable. So here you can say that trainable parameters is 0, so no parameter is going to be changed, like that is weights are not going to change. Okay, and after that we will in the so in the class, so after that we will add a classification head. So basically in the classification head what we are doing, we are making our 5 cross 5 5, so we are making it in a our image shape in a vector form. So it is 512 pixels in one vector, and the 32 is represents the batch size. Okay, so in the vector form, and for the dense layer also, like it is basically predict. So here we are doing the prediction. So basically we are not training anything, so we are doing it just using those layers. We are doing it prediction, like it is batch size is 32 and one is like it is, if we encounter the true then it is 1, otherwise it is 0. Okay, this is the thing, and build the model. After that we will include all the things and make a model like we have previously defined: data augmentation, rescaling, and feature extraction thing. So we will take all the things here and we will make our model. Okay, so this is our input image. It is our data augmentation processed input X, and training. Here we are not going to tell the, we are going to input the base in maze model. We are going to input the images, and training, we have training is equal to false, so it will not going to train. And after that we are also fixing the dropout is equal to 0.2, and then the output will come like in the prediction layer that we have defined here in the prediction layers. Okay, so output will come here, and then we'll print the model again. So here we can say that compile the model. So in compilation, what we are going to add, like in model.compile will add the optimizer and loss function and the metric also. So here we are using the ADAM optimizer and binding cross entropy loss, and metric is accuracy. So here we will again print the model. So model summary is like, so all the VGG function, like all the parameters are not trainable, so it is not going to use, and only dense layer parameter is going to use. It will train, so it is 513. So you can say like 513 is trainable parameter, others are not going to use in training. So we will train it, we will just evaluate it. We are not training here, we are just evaluate on the ImageNet dataset. But with the help of ImageNet dataset weight, we are evaluating the R validation dataset. So you can say like we get loss of 0.81 and our accuracy is around 50%. So we can print it like this, and after that we will do a training. So we will train the model for 10 epochs basically, and validate the data set, and we will check like how much accuracy will increase. So you can see like after training it will loss is after 10 epochs loss is 0.62 and the accuracy is 58%. So 8% is increases. It is only for 10 epoch. So it will, if we train more epochs, then it will increase more, and we can print it like our accuracy and the validation loss here. So you can say like per epoch we can here we have a validation accuracy and the training accuracy, and here also we have a training loss and the validation loss. So it is decreasing, but it is for 10 epochs, so it will decrease more if we train for more epochs. So basically this is the thing we use for before fine tuning. Like it is the thing like we didn't train the model, we didn't train the VGGNet convolution layers. We just train the dense layer only. So this is what we getting. So if fine tune means fine tune is basically is we are going to use in fine tuning it is in basically we use fine tune to increase the performance. Further it is before like further it will increase the like it is previously trained model. So this is what we will do in fine tuning. So okay, so here we will set the trainable parameter is equal to true. So it will show like we can train it, trainable parameter is true, so then we can train our models or all the convolution layers also. So and here we can say like when after what layers we are going to put the fine tuning. So here the total number of layers is 19. So 16 convolution layer plus 3 feed for neural network layer. So and after after 8 layers we will use fine tuning. Okay, so here you can change the fine tune layers or here from here if you don't get the good results. Okay, so we will after that we will compile the model. So here in compilation we will add the loss function optimizer and the metric. So after that we will here you can say like we will print the model summary, and you can check like we are going to train this much parameter this time. So we are going to train all total parameters, and after that we will start training. So we are going to train for 10 epochs only. So you can say like it will increase the accuracy. You can say the loss is also decreasing and the accuracy is increasing by per epoch. So it is the loss is points after 10 epochs we have trained before, and after that like 11 like 10 to 11 10 to 20 is here. So loss is 0.09 and the accuracy is like 0.95. So 95% accuracy we are getting for 10 epochs only, and after that we will print these models. So you can say like oh okay, so this graph is something okay. The previously we are getting something like this. So here also we after 10 epochs we are getting like after fine tuning we can say like our training accuracy and validation accuracy is increasing, and this is the stage for start where the fine tuning starts. Okay, so the green one is showing that thing, and here we are showing the previous training and validation loss, and this is for the like previous 10 layers and after previous 10 epochs, and after 10 epochs the loss is decreasing. Okay, training and validation loss. So in this like we can say like initially our loss will getting from 0.6 till 0.6. Here you can say like in the graph like 0.6 and 0.8 in between, and after using the fine tuning we are getting better performance, like loss is decreasing. So here we are getting loss is 0.09 and something, and training loss and validation loss also. So after that we can predict it also. So here we use the test data set and try to measure the accuracy on test data set. So this is test data set on 6 batches. It is performed on 6 batches, and the loss is 0.08 and accuracy is 96% on test data set. So we can predict it, like we can also plot it, we print the predictions and the labels also. So 1 is for the dog and 0 is for the cat. So it is predicting almost similar, like so you can say, like in the image also, it is small, but it is dog, it is cat, and cat thing and dog. So you can say like it is performing best with 98%, 96% accuracy on test data set. So this is the thing like we do in transfer learning and in fine tuning. So basically what we do, like if I am telling in a short, like first we use the trained model. So and previously trained model, like ImageNet data or some other data set, like bigger one, and we use those weights, and we'll train our model without training the layers. So and what the result we get, and it is not that good result. But after we apply the fine tuning, like we will train these layers in VGGNet, in VGG or the ResNet or image, like whatever the network you are using. So if we use the fine tunings, like after the 7 layer, 8 layer, so the 7th layer it will freeze the layers, and after the 7th layer it will train the layers. So before 7th layer the weights will not change, and after the 7th layer it will change. Okay, so and then we will calculate our accuracy, like previously it was 50%, and now it is on test data it is on around 95%. If we increase like some more epochs, then we will get some more accuracy. So this is the thing I wanted to show. So
Any question from anybody? Okay, thank you, Abhishek. So I guess that's it for today's lab. So I'm going to post one assignment by tomorrow and give you some day. So the assignment will be based on CNN or some stuff that we covered today. Okay, and this is going to be possibly the last assignment in this particular course. Okay, and I will give you enough time to submit this assignment. Okay, so thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, thank you. And
Happy Diwali, sir.
Happy Diwali in advance. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Happy Diwali to you, sir.
Happy Diwali to you too.
Thank you, sir.
Happy Diwali, sir.
Happy Diwali to you. Okay. Yeah.